Hey guys, today we want to unbox this monster. I do not have a big enough space for this to actually unbox it and make a video, but yeah, let's just screw it and let's do it. Let's get this box cut open and get this thing out of here. As you can see on the box, maybe, this is the Corsair Airflow chassis. This is the 6500 series. This one is the 6500D. I'm not even gonna try and turn the box around and show anything. This thing is 15 kilograms as it is, just the box on its own. So it is difficult to maneuver around. So let's just cut it open, get it out and see what you get. Hopefully I spent enough time on this video. This is quite a nice chassis to actually have. This is a dual chamber chassis. So when you cut open the box, it says immediately for you to stop and download the quick start guide. Let's get this out of the box. But if you need to see the manual or whatever, you can just scan one of these QR codes. It'll give you the full manual. So to get the box out or the chassis out, you have to turn the box on its side and then just drag the chassis out. Alright, I got it out. This is packaged in the thickest, sturdiest foam that I've ever seen. So this will be the bottom of the chassis. I'll take off this one first, turn it around and then take off the top one. As you can see, insanely thick foam. Because it's such a heavy chassis, I'll show you the bottom of the chassis right now. This has got a very large sieve to just filter out all that dust particles. There is a little information booklet that comes along. This sieve can slide out and then you can just clean it when you service the PC. This triangle pattern is beneath the sieve just to give it a bit of support. The feet on the bottom of the chassis, these are rubber pads, very sticky rubber pads, so I think the chassis will just stay where it is when you put it down. Again, the same thing on the top side, extremely thick foam here. And this is the Corsair 6500D Airflow chassis. You can see that this one has got the full mesh on the front side and also a full mesh on the top side. Back panel of the dual chamber is also a mesh. This is also a very large piece of mesh. I will unscrew it later and then we can have a look at what is in there. On the other side of the chassis is the large tempered glass panel. This is on hinges. To open up this part, you can just pull on the glass and it will swivel open. And that reveals the inside of your desktop. Let me take off this glass and then we can have a look. Before I do that, let's quickly go to the back side of the PC because there's a little box of tools and stuff that I need to get. The back side of the chassis has got this nice number on it that just shows it's a 6500 series, and in here there's a little box that we need to retrieve. And inside here you have all your little screws and stuff like that. This is also a hard drive tray. There's two of these. So if I open this up, there's the cable ties, the front headers, little connector, a lot of these spacers for this little box, all the screws and special screws that you need to work with this chassis. Also something that you might be able to see, let me just lift up the chassis. There is a bit of Velcro to keep your cables just neat and tidy, so the power supply will fit in here, and then this is just to keep everything nice and neat. And that has also got your branding for your Corsair on there. Maybe one thing that I didn't show on the top of the chassis is that the USBs are all yellow, and there's a Type C and then 3 normal USBs, and there's your power button and also the jack for your audio. Okay, to take off this glass panel you actually need a Phillips screwdriver. Then you can just remove this glass plate and you won't break it while working on the PC and installing everything. Let's just quickly have a look at the sieves at the top. You can just pull it loose at the back and it will lift out. It's got these little clips that just clip into the front of the chassis, and this is just exactly the size of that area, so it fits very snugly, very snug. It's a very snug fit. The front is the same. You can just pull on that and then it will be able to lift out. So just like that, and the front is also loose, and you will also have access to clean all of these meshes and dust filters. So the radiator at the top will be able to be 360, way there at the back 360, also the front 360, and this one over here will be will fit a 120mm up to 140mm radiator at the back. So when I tilt over this big boy, you can have a look in there and you'll see that there's a lot of space for a big motherboard, and this dual chamber just put your power supply and everything behind the motherboard. This chassis also supports behind the board connectors, so if your connectors is at the back of the board, this will work together with that. Let me take off the glass panel quickly. Screws that you need to remove at the back. Okay, I've placed that glass panel in a very safe place now. So now we can have a look at the box. It's a bit lighter without that glass panel, but still heavy. On the inside at the top you've got nice soft grommets for your cables to go through. On each side you've got nice holes over there and in front, and also over here you've got holes. I'll bring the camera a bit in maybe at a later point. Let's quickly remove this back panel. For that you just remove the thumb screws at the back, and then this whole piece or sieve comes off. All of the side panels on this chassis has got these little ball connectors, so when you press it in it just stays there. It fits very nicely and snug. It just pushes into the little holes that catches that ball. If you'd like to install 2.5-inch drives, there are 2 little brackets over here which you can use to install those little drives, and it's also a quick release. So you just attach this little plate to the back of the drive and push it into place, and just fasten it again with this little screw. So 2 of them. And then you have these extremely long cables which comes from your front panel or your front input panel. You have your USB type C, 2 of the USB 3s, front USB 3s, and a front panel buttons and audio. On this chassis, these panels are interchangeable or replaceable. There's little kits you can order or just get from Corsair, and you can change this whole thing and the front and that side to a wooden finish, or just different kind of finishes which you would whatever you would like to for the chassis to look like. If I tilt the chassis just like this, you'll see that over here you can install your power supply. For this chassis I got the Corsair Shift power supply. The Shift power supply does not have the cables at the back of the power supply, it comes out on the side. So I will plug in my power at this end and all the cables will come out of the power supply towards the bottom, and nothing will be hanging on this side. So it will be a very neat kind of a design, or a tidy kind of a design. This power supply that I'm talking about is an 850 watt. It is strong enough for whatever we're going to put in here. It is a fully modular power supply. So what the dual chamber just gives you the flexibility of hiding all your cables and everything you don't want to see at the back, and on the front of the PC you've got a very nice introduction to your motherboard and the stuff you want to show off. Let me see if I can take you guys a bit closer into the chassis and just show you around on the inside. See if the phone can keep up with all the different kind of lights. Inside the chassis, you can see that the motherboard can fit in here very nicely. We'll maybe fit a few parts and a motherboard or whatever and just show you how it sits in here. But the radiator at the bottom or at the front or way there, on the side of the, also it will just fit in there very nicely. I think I will do maybe that kind of an install. I thought that this chassis would come with the RGB fans for the front, but I think that's the X chassis, but that chassis has got a glass front panel and I didn't want that for this build. Also here at the bottom you can see that wherever you want cables to route through, this thing has got so many holes and so many spaces. It's really easy. When the motherboard's installed, you don't need to pull through cables in funny places or loosen the motherboard or anything like that. Most of the times you will just be able to reach everything you need. The back of the chassis, if I come close over here, also you can see that those trays, and over here where the power supply will be installed, the little Velcro piece that I spoke about, the 6 holes of the front glass panel. Over here, if I just take you a bit closer, you can just see that little ball catch that when you press the sieve in or the covers in, it'll just keep it there. This whole box is really thick and it's really built very sturdy. If I try and flex it, it's impossible. This thing is super solid, so this will definitely be a very solid chassis for your hardware. So this is the back side of the chassis. I put it flat down just to be able to show you guys a very nice angle of all of this. So again, super large space which you can work with. Over here also you can see where that radiator will fit to the back, and as I said, maybe that will be the kind of install that I do for this specific PC. Over here, the bottom side that we saw when I started the video, very easy access to everything, and even if the PC is on the table standing, you can still remove the front panel, just pull out this sieve, quickly clean it and push it back. There's also a bit of nice just a little bit of branding over here with the Corsair logo that's just embedded into the front of the PC. Alright, I've just realized I've actually been a bit silly. This bottom part, you don't need to remove those 3 screws, you can only remove the 3 at the top. And this one you can just lift the glass out of there, so only this hinge needs to be removed. So that is the Corsair 6500D series or 6500 series chassis, just unboxed, and I just showed you what you get in the box, how big this thing is, and what you can expect if you just buy this. Just a quick video to show you. Thanks for watching.